All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. This is Crypto Crisis Day 2. I want to go through and give everybody an update. I did a video yesterday on what's going on in the crypto world. I want to talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. But in order to do that, I need to talk crypto to put everything in perspective because there's something going on that's 100% driving the price of Bitcoin right now. Things are moving so quickly that yesterday's video needs a big update. A lot happened in the last 24 hours. So stay tuned. If you want to jump around, there's always chapters below, but I recommend you stay tuned and watch the whole video. If you did not see my video yesterday, it might be helpful to watch that really quickly just to bring yourself up to speed if you're not already up to speed on what's going on. Also, if you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could smash the like button, I would appreciate it. Lastly, you can join the channel by hitting the join button on YouTube. If you don't see a join button, there should be a link below. Members get some members-only content as well as a members-only live stream once a week where we pick a video, where the members get to pick a video for me to do for the members only. Okay, so hope to see you there. Let's talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin miners. And I'm going to start with the overall market because I just want to put everything in perspective today. We're down about 1% across the board. The S&P's down 0.74, the Dow's down 0.77, the Nasdaq's down 1.02, and the Russell's down 1.11. So we're having a modest down day today, nothing too dramatic in the overall equity markets. So I only show you that because I want to compare it, contrast it to what's going on with the Bitcoin miner stocks and with Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency, because unlike the equity markets, cryptocurrency is in day 2 of what can only be described as at least a mini crisis. We're going to see, is this a short-term crisis? How long is this going to take to play out? So that's all the stuff that I want to talk about. I want to bring everybody back up to speed because things are moving quickly. A real quick look at the Bitcoin miner big board. You're going to see this is all red with one exception. Marathon is actually up 3% today. Marathon announced earnings after the bell yesterday, so I will do a separate video going through that and try and take a look at why they are up on what is otherwise a disastrously red day. So there's your exception. There always seems to be one exception. Other than that, we're talking about moves between, 7 and 11% across the board. This does not match up at all with what the equity markets are doing. These are much more dramatic moves to the downside. However, when you look at what Bitcoin is doing, and what I'm going to look at next is what the cryptocurrency world is doing, that's where this price action is coming from. So it actually has really nothing to do with Bitcoin at all. Right now, Bitcoin is being driven by a larger problem in the cryptocurrency world. And until that problem gets straightened out, there's some downward pressure that's bringing us to places I did not think we'd be going. Okay, so just for reference, I'm on CoinGecko. This could be one of 100 sites. This lists all of the top cryptocurrency coins and tokens by market cap. So I just want to look at what's happening to the large cryptocurrencies to put this in perspective. The last 24 hours have been when the crisis has hit. So Bitcoin is down almost 12% in that time. So that is a drastic one-day move for Bitcoin. But you're going to see when we look at the rest of the list, it's actually probably outperforming on average the rest of the cryptocurrency world. Ethereum's down almost 19% right now. So that is a massive move to the downside. Ethereum's back down to $1,173. Even Binance in the last 24 hours is down almost 10%. XRP, that's down 16% in the last 24 hours. Cardano's down 10% in the last 24 hours. So you can see across the board, there's been massive damage done in a 24 to 48 hour time frame here in cryptocurrency. So this is not a Bitcoin thing. However, Bitcoin is getting dragged down with the current. And this is kind of how this works. And this is not unique to cryptocurrency. The same thing happens in the equity markets. If the indexes have an epic bad day, down 5% or 6%, every stock across the board pretty much gets wrecked. So I'm sure you're familiar. That's basically how this usually works. Okay, I want to start with this article from Fortune. I think their headline basically says it best. What the hell just happened in crypto? A Q&A in plain English about Binance's takedown of FTX. So sprinkled in here is going to be a little bit of background as to what went on. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this does tell the story. The world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange carried out the corporate equivalent of murder on its closest competitor. So that is very very strong language, but that is what this feels like. In a very short period of time, 24 to 36 hours, CZ over at Binance, it looks like made a conscious decision to take FTX out, and it did not take long. This is something I thought would be unfolding for a while. There's now a letter of intent that Binance has signed to buy FTX, and I believe what they're going to buy is all the international portion of FTX, and Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, will hold on to the US FTX. I have not seen the letter of intent, but that's what I'm understanding. So last weekend, CZ began complaining about SBF's lobbying tactics and then used Binance's might in the market to destroy his competitor. So the person who wrote this article, you can tell they have very strong feelings about this. And I do think this is pretty blatantly obvious, in my opinion, as well. This all started with a tweet put out by CZ that really essentially ended up in having a run, what would effectively be a run on the bank for FTX, and it put them out of business in one day. And that's what a run on the bank does. So this is the danger in cryptocurrency world, and this is why regulation is coming for exchanges. There are backstops for banks. We don't really have runs on the bank anymore. Not to say that it's impossible, but they are FDIC insured, and the Fed stands behind them as well in the event of a massive crisis, as they did in the year 2008. So there's some backstops in place and some safety mechanisms in the rest of the investment and finance world that does not exist in the cryptocurrency world. So these crypto exchanges, they're very susceptible to a potential run on the bank if they leave themselves open in that position. And unfortunately, FTX has found themselves in that position. Okay, so they go on to say the two of them, CZ and SBF, used to be pals, and this included CZ investing in SBF's new cryptocurrency exchange. In time, CZ decided he didn't want to own it anymore, and when he sold his stake in FTX, now FTX is Sam Bankman-Fried's company that was the second biggest player, if you will, in the space. So when CZ sold his share in that company, he took payment in a crypto token called FTT. Those tokens are used by customers on the FTX exchange to obtain trading discounts, but unlike Bitcoin, they're not especially liquid. Now, I think he's missing the key point here. Two key points. Number one, FTT is the native token to FTX, so it's their own token. This is one of the things I think is going to disappear. I don't think you're going to be allowed to have exchanges and tokens. They leveraged their position in FTT that they held on their balance sheet, so they borrowed $2 billion against that. So when CZ put out a tweet that he was going to sell all of his FTT, holding a significant portion of that, it caused the entire market to panic and immediately start withdrawing and selling all of their FTT, withdrawing all of their funds from FTX. So ironically, CZ never had to sell a single token. Just his tweet was enough to cause the run on the bank, and FTX essentially ended up within a few short hours, ended up illiquid to the point where they had to come in and have Binance essentially buy them out just in order to continue to exist. Okay, quickly, another article. This is from the Financial Times. This says, Binance chief says near collapse of FTX severely eroded confidence in crypto industry. If you get a chance, you might want to read this. It's at ft.com. It's just an interesting read to the extent that this puts an extremely different slant on this situation. So I'm just going to talk about this for a minute and then move on because I want to get to Bitcoin and what's going on there. Okay, this article says the near collapse of FTX has, quote, severely shaken confidence in the cryptocurrency industry and will trigger tougher scrutiny by regulators. Binance chief CZ said a day after orchestrating a rescue of the exchange's rival. Now, so this article is framing this as a rescue, but as we just saw, this was a clear takedown and take out of the competition. So I feel like rescue may not necessarily be the word that I would use in that situation. But that is how he's now trying to frame this, as he's the hero coming in and rescuing the situation so that the entire crypto universe doesn't fall apart. In the meantime, we are in a mini crypto crisis. It's having massive ramifications in the short term. So we're going to see how CZ does on this in the long term, if he follows through on his letter of intent, because if he bails out on that, then this is likely to drag on and get worse. So it says, Z said in a note to employees seen by the Financial Times that the bailout, which consolidated Binance's position as the world's largest crypto trade venue, was not, quote, a win. Quote, regulators will scrutinize exchanges even more. Licenses around the globe will be harder to get. Z wrote to staff early on Wednesday. The message also laid out the speed of the deal he agreed with his counterpart Sam Bankman-Fried to prevent the total collapse of FTX, which had been valued at $32 billion earlier this year. Binance declined to comment on the internal memo. So this goes on that way, but I just wanted to show you this is a different perspective. So take this for what it's worth, but CZ and Binance are trying to say they're the good guys here, but I think there's definitely a couple of different ways to look at this. Okay, so what's all this mean for Bitcoin? Because we just saw the entire cryptocurrency market is being destroyed right now. So I'm going to go to the one-day time frame for Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin on the one-day time frame. Each one of these candles equals 1 day. I don't usually start here, but there's some key stuff going on. And you can see the last 2 days of candles are massive red candles, and we're starting to take out lines of support that are putting us into uncharted territory. So I want to give you my explanation of what's going on and why for a short period of time here, we may be outside of all of the technicals. This is a situation where I am still following the technicals closely, but for as long as this massive uncertainty and volatility exists, you can almost throw the technicals and the fundamentals out the window. Sometimes there's just an external event that's causing downward pressure, and until that pressure is released, things keep going down. So today I think is going to be the day that decides whether or not we have another big move downward or if we start to stabilize. So when I did my video yesterday, we had this giant red candle. You'll see a candle wicked all the way down to test our lows from the summer. So in June, we hit basically a 2-year low on Bitcoin at around 17,500. So on certain charts, based on what exchange you're looking at, you'll see that some of them say we did flash crash down to even $17,000. That was a quick flash crash, just a few minutes or less. And then you'll see we have a big candle wick. We closed above our line of support here. So this red line at $18,462, that goes back to September 21st. That's actually the lowest daily close we've had. So that is the lowest we've closed on a daily candle in the last 2 years. So to me, that's something I was gauging against. We have not seen a daily candle close below that. We have not really gotten anywhere near retesting the summer lows. Well, you'll see yesterday we candle wicked down and clearly retested the summer lows, but we did run all the way back up and close above this line. So as of even right now, we still have not broken this line of support from a daily candle standpoint. However, if you take a look at today's candle, so far it does not look good. Bitcoin is currently at $17,105. So that is well below the summer lows. Most of the exchanges showed Bitcoin getting down to around $17,000 yesterday. I am looking at Bitcoin on the Coinbase exchange, so it did not get down quite that low on this exchange, but overall, 17,000 seemed to be about the consensus. Well, here we are again. On this chart, it did get as low as 16,835. We're at 17,091 right now, so we're sitting right there in that $17,000 range. Up until today, we have still been holding this line at 18,462. We have not had a daily candle close below that line. So we're looking at closing potentially $1,300 or more below that line if we continue in this direction. So that would be a decisive close below that line. If we then close below this line at 17,567, then we will have a daily close that closes lower than our flash crash from this summer. So those two things would be major takeouts, and they would signal major moves to the downside. And again, most of this pressure is not really directly related to Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency world is just getting dragged down right now. And the longer this goes on, the longer it's going to get dragged down. So we're starting to be in a little bit of uncharted territory. So what I am hoping for, what I'm looking for today is, can we get this candle back up above 17,500 by the time this daily candle closes today? If so, then at least we will have found some support at the summer lows. If not, if we close below that, then we will have taken out several important lines of support, and clearly the short-term pressure would be to the downside. So I don't even have a next line of support under this. I will create some of those for my next videos based on the technicals and what else I'm looking at. But again, sometimes in these external event situations, you can throw everything else out the window. You know, Bitcoin could just be under pressure until this situation resolves itself. So I'm not calling it a black swan event. It's by no means a black swan event, but it's an outlying event that does not directly relate to Bitcoin, but it is crushing Bitcoin as a byproduct. So if we look at the 15-minute time frame, if we stay down here and we close down here, then that's the scenario that I'm afraid of. So, you know, this is the close-up look we're we're going sideways a little bit. So can we jump back up above this line? That is going to be the key. You can see we did spend some time above this line. We have one candle that pushed us below that, one 15-minute candle, and now we're sideways. There's a lot of time left in the trading day, and these days have been unbelievably volatile. So I would not be surprised to see a move in either direction. Obviously, what I'm hoping for is that we have a nice move to the upside and have a daily candle that closes above at least this 17,567. That way we held our summer lows. Ideally, we would love to close back above this line. Otherwise, if we close below this line up here at 18,462, then we will have a new lower daily close. That will be the lowest daily close in the year 2021 or 2022. So there's a couple of key lines there. I don't expect to get all the way back above this one, but I think we do have a chance based on the massive volatility of at least holding this lows from the summer. So as you can see, things are moving quickly. We're going to have to pay attention to what goes on. We're going to have to see if this deal gets closed between Binance and FTX, and how that plays out and how the pressure plays out on the cryptocurrency world, because in the meantime, it's destroying Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is taking along with it all the Bitcoin miners. So very red day so far. We'll see where that day ends. Hopefully we have a turnaround. So I'm gonna leave you with that. I think that brings everybody up to date. Obviously this situation is moving quickly, so I will get another video out if circumstances change. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to subscribe and like the channel, and I will see you in the next video.